المد الطبيعي. المد الطبيعي, the natural mad, and that comes with only 3 letters, alif, waw, and ya. And we know the condition of each letter. When should we consider alif as alif mad? When should we consider waw to be waw mad? And same for ya. We know the conditions of each one. And also, we know this mad is named the general mad, the natural mad, al-mad al-tabi'i is general, and we name it like this because all types of mad has to contain al-mad al-tabi'i. And we said al-mad al-tabi'i is wajib. You know, we have to do it. We don't have any other option, and it's only 2 beats, 2 counts, right? And
Yeah.
don't forget that al-mad al-tabi'i is just the mad letters. Mad al-tabi'i, when we see alif, waw, or ya mad, this is called al-mad al-tabi'i. Like for example, the word khalidina. Khalidina. So look at this alif. This alif is alif mad, and this ya is ya mad. Can you tell me why? This
It's
alif is,
correct.
yeah, this
Yeah,
alif
it's
is alif mad because of the 2 conditions. Remember the conditions
yeah,
of mad?
that's for it.
Yeah, first, yeah, you're right. But the first condition, it has to be second, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the mad letter has to be second, and the second, the letter before has to have the haraka of the mad, which matches with mad. What does it mean? So the previous haraka. So if we have alif mad, so the previous haraka has to be a fatha. So the letter before alif has to be with a fatha. Why fatha? Because only fatha matches with alif mad. The same sound. How
Right.
about if it's ya? The letter
It's
before
kasra.
should be with a kasra. Perfect. How about if it's waw? The letter before should be with a dhamma. Yes. X is just like a letter, you know, any letter. Okay. So alif, waw, and ya, no haraka, as you see, no sign, no fatha, no kasra, no dhamma, even no sukun sign. Doesn't have even the sukun sign. And the previous, as you see, the previous letter for alif has to be with a fatha, for ya has to be with a kasra, for waw has to be with a dhamma. So that's why here this is called alif mad. This is alif mad. Why this is alif mad? Because it's second, doesn't have any simple fatha, kasra, dhamma, or even the sukun sign. And also the second condition, the previous haraka is fatha. So in this case, we're gonna extend this fatha. How many? How many counts? How many beats? Just 2 beats, right? So instead of khali, no, khalidi. And also this ya is ya mad. Why? Doesn't have any simple, doesn't have fatha, kasra, dhamma, and even doesn't have the sukun sign. And also the previous letter, as you see, which is dal, has a kasra. And as we know, ya goes to kasra. So the sound of ya goes with kasra. So this is ya mad. So in this case, we're gonna extend this kasra of the dal 2 beats, right? So it becomes khalidina. Do we extend the noon of the fatha of the noon? No, because we
No.
don't have alif after. Do we extend the kasra of this letter, which is lam?
No.
No. Why? Because we don't have ya after. If this ya is followed, I mean the next letter which comes after this lam with a kasra. If the next letter was ya, and this ya doesn't have any haraka, so we had to extend the lam. But this lam is not followed by ya, so no mad. When should we extend if we have fatha, kasra, and dhamma? Fatha, kasra, or dhamma. And the next was alif, waw, or ya. It depends, right?
Yeah.
So here we have 2 letters of mad. Alif and ya. Khalidina. Get my point? This is
Yes.
called al-mad al-tabi'i. Just it. So how about the next one? The second type is called al-mad al-muttasil. What does the word muttasil mean? Muttasil means connected. Connected mad. Connected means it's actually, as I told you before, it's actually considered as an exception from the exceptions of general mad, but we put it as a separate type. If we have a mad letter, as I told you, any mad has to contain المد الطبيعي, the general mad, which is mad letter ألف واو or ياء. So if we have a mad letter, ML means mad letter, and the next letter was Hamza, and that was in only one word, in the same word, same word. In this case, this is called al-mad al-muttasil, connected mad. Why we call it connected mad? Because Hamza is connected to the mad in the same word. Just it. Because Hamza is connected to the mad in the same word. So in this case, in this type, we need to double the mad. What does double the mad mean? المد الطبيعي has two beats, correct?
Yes.
This is for
So
المد الطبيعي. But for
four,
المد exactly correct. For المد المتصل, for this is for طبيعي. For مد طبيعي, the natural, the general one. But because of the Hamza, we will be extending المد الطبيعي another two, so 4 beats. And this is called طبيعي. Sorry, not طبيعي. This is called متصل. متصل. What does the word متصل mean? Connected. Connected means Hamza is connected to the Hamza is connected to the mad letter in the same word, right? That's why it's called connected. So Hamza makes the mad longer than 2 beats, which means 4 beats. Get my point? And this type of mad, which is al-mad al-muttasil, is wajib. So you have to do it. Okay? If you didn't prolong al-mad for 4 beats, your recitation is not is incorrect. Get my point? We make it 4
yes.
beats. So we make it in both cases. If we make wasl or waqf. In both cases, we need to apply al-mad because this is wajib. No exceptions for al-mad al-muttasil. That not only with alif but also with ya and waw. Let's take some examples to see. The word sama' or the word, for example, ma or asma or nisa or si'at for ya, si'at, or the word, for example, tabu for waw, tabu, or quru, quru. Well, look at this. By the way, if the mad is longer than 2 beats, you need to see the wave. Remember the sign of mad in Quran? The
Yeah.
sign of mad in Quran, mad sign, is this wave. And we spoke about it the previous session. Why we have this wave? This wave actually is the word mad. It's like this.
Four
Mad.
times.
Huh?
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah. We see this wave, which is the word of mad, if the mad is longer than 2 beats. If mad is greater than or longer than 2 counts, 2 beats, you will see the wave, the mad, on alif, waw, or ya. Whatever 4, 5, or 6 beats. Okay? We don't
That's
have.
for the.
Say again?
This is for the connected mud. 4, 5, or 6.
No, in general. This
Oh,
wave for general, for all types.
right.
Our connected mad and mad al-muttasil only 4. Okay?
Right.
Some scholars said 5, but we do it only 4 do not confuse.
Can I just ask you, you know this, you see at, so we see...
That's why I wrote this here
yeah,
in the draft, just to put the sign here. So
right.
all these letters of mad, we need to give
Yeah.
give
Can you say them out, sir?
yeah. Now asma nisa. Okay, now let's see. This is mad. Why? This is alif mad. Why? Because of the two conditions we know. Doesn't have any haraka, fatha, kasra, dhamma. Doesn't have even the sukun sign. And the previous has a fatha. This is alif, so the previous haraka is fatha. Correct?
Yes.
So in this case, we extend this fatha for how many beats? 4, not 2. Why 4? Because this is muttasil. Why this is muttasil? Because we have hamza
And alif.
and alif in the same word. We have mad letter, and after the mad we have hamza in the same word. So
Yeah.
this is the condition of muttasil, connected. So extend this 4 beats. Sama. Okay. How about this one? Same, right? Mad letter is followed by hamza in the same word. So extend this fatha. How many beats? 4 beats. So ma, and this is same. If we have mad letter and after mad we have hamza, so asma. Here,
It's wakaf, isn't it, that you're doing all of these?
not necessary to be waqf, by the way. We can give it, for example, a fatha, like this.
Yes.
Hamza has a fatha. Still 4.
Yes, that's
Asma or asma, or
right.
with tanween, for example, asma'an. The most
Right.
important thing is just to extend this meme
Yeah.
4 beats. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, this is same mad letter, and after the mad we have hamza in the same word. So extend this scene also 4 beats. So nisa or nisa, for example, and this is same. See, we extend this kasra. Okay, see at tabu or tabu. Okay, with dhamma, for example, or
Right.
tabu. Just extend this dhamma 4 beats. Get my
Right.
point?
Yeah.
And here quru, quru in, for example, and
Yeah.
so on. So extend this dhamma also 4 beats. We have
But
some.
sorry, can I just ask you, because sometimes, you know, there's a mud sign and then underneath there's like a small vowel or a ya.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This is same. Remember when we said, as we have the long mad letters like this, we have short mad letters. Remember? And we said this is same. For example, the word aqra'an. Aqra'an. You can write it like this with the long alif mad, or you can write it like this. Look at this. Aqra'an. Both are correct. So here it was long mad letter, and here it's short mad letter. Get my point? Both are equal. Same. This is your question? Not only for alif, also for waw and ya.
What I'm trying to say, when sometimes there's wakaf, at the end there's a like a small ya as well as the mud as well.
Yeah,
So do we just...
but this is not our topic. This is another type of mad. But look at this, like this.
Yeah.
Innahu awwa. This is this is your point, right? So here we have small waw of mad, right?
Yeah.
This is your point. Also this one, bihi and
Yeah.
so in this case, this is not our topic. This is called maddu sila. مد الصلة.
We're not doing that.
No, this is not our topic. If we stop, just to know, if we stop, no mad. If we stop, no mad. We say إنه. We give this one سكون. إنه. That's why we call it مد الصلة. الصلة
Right.
from the word wasl. Wasl means it's applied only if we make wasl, when we carry on, when we keep on reading, when we join. But when we stop, no mad. It's
Yeah.
taken from its name, by the way. This is
Yeah.
same.
But when we
Bihi.
carry on,
If we stop, when we carry on, you have the option to make it. You have two options to make it 2 beats, or 4 beats, or
right.
5 beats. We're gonna explain all of this, inshallah, in detail. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is not our topic. Anyways,
And
so it's very important to know that for al-mad al-muttasil, which is our topic here,
yes.
al-mad al-muttasil, if the hamza, when the hamza comes at the end and you will stop, you can make it 4, 5, or 6 beats. Okay? And some scholars said, in case you stop, it's better to make it 6 beats. What does it mean? Remember the word, for example, sama, sama'an. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or let's say, for example, sama'in. So if we stop in this case, hamza comes at the end. Then we stop. So we give it sukoon, correct? So
Yeah.
this mad muttasil, you can make it 4, or you can make it 6 beats. Why 6? 6 in case I stop. But you don't have to do this. You don't have, but the region is only 4 beats.
That's fine. I don't want to get confused then.
Yeah. But just something just to know. In case you stop, you can make it 6 beats. But make sure Hamza comes at the end of the word and you stop after the Hamza. I mean, you give the Hamza sukoon. So in this case, you have the right to make it 6 beats or even 5. Not only 6, even 5. Get my point?
Can
But
I just
still, yeah.
ask, with the mean, don't we do like, wouldn't this be, even if we stop, wouldn't this be some
No, if we stop, we don't say sama'i. We give it sukoon. We don't apply this tanween in case we stop.
right? Is that for
Tanween?
fat, dhamma and tanween and
No,
both?
no. Only tanween with kasra and dhamma. Tanween
Right.
kasra
Yeah, I remember now.
and dhamma. Tanween with fatha, no. We put with alif. Like if that's why I
Yeah.
change it to not confuse you. But if it's tanween with fatha,
Yeah.
like it was at the beginning, and we stop, we never say sama. No, we say
Right.
sama. Remember?
Yeah.
Sama. So in this case, we make it 4 if you stop. In case you
Yeah.
stop, okay? You make it 4, 5, or 6. But in this case, you make it only 4. Why? Because the hamza is not at the end now. The end one is the last one is this alif. But this alif is hidden. We don't write it. We read it, but we don't apply it. We don't write it. We apply it, but we don't write it. Get my point? Why we don't
Yeah.
write it? Because Hamza has to be at the end. We never put something after the Hamza.
All
Anyways,
right.
so that only with Tanween with Fatha. But if it's with Kasra or Dhamma, we put Sukoon. If it's with Fatha, we cancel the Tanween. We apply only Fatha with Alif after. Sama'a. Get my point? And here you have only one option to make it 4 beats. Get my point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the Hamza, is it 2 beats?
Yeah, for the fatha of the hamza, we make it 2 beats.
Yeah.
Perfect.
2.
2 beats. Sama. Why 2 beats? Because of the alif after. Get my point? So
Yeah.
it's written like this actually. Sama'an in Quran. If we carry on, we say sama'an 4 beats. And if we stop here, if we stop, it becomes 4 beats as well, but with 2 beats extra at the end with the hamza. Sama. But if we
Right.
join, if we make wasl, 4 beats, and we apply tanween, we never cancel the tanween. So in the beginning we were canceling tanween, and add substitution mad. We call it substitution mad of tanween. So, which is سماء. So we cancel the tanween and we put substitution mad for 2 beats, which is this
Right.
alif, which comes after the hamza. سماء. But for
Yeah.
this one, we apply the tanween 4 beats. سماء. But this is only if it's with tanween with fatha. Get my point?
Right.
Don't want
Yes.
to confuse you. No need for this. So this is al-mad al-muttasil. Please make sure this is the most important thing, that the mad letter is joined to the hamza, is connected
Right.
to the hamza in the same
Yeah.
word.